Hello, everybody. Welcome back to On the Come Up with KG, and we are here with episode 2 with Norense Odiase
Duh. King No, the kid that did back.
and Mind Bully Podcast. So we are gonna pick up where we left off. Where did we leave off?
Yeah, this your podcast.
Ooh.
I'm not sure.
Oh wow.
But I think we was talking about vulnerability. I can't even say it.
Just kill the accent.
Vulnerability.
As Mind Bully, who is your target audience?
It's a great question. And for me, I think like on social media they say, "Oh, niche, find your niche." For me, probably there's some validity to that, but me, I'm trying to focus on individuals on the journey and focused on the mindset one garners on the journey. The next step. Like, what's that real battle like? You versus your mind belief. When you're in those moments, when you go back home from a long day of work or practice or anything in your real life, you know what you're saying in your head when that journey is in flux coming at you hard. It's on individuals that have that journey, that battle. So I've had ranges of guests, literally a guest yesterday hit me up on the DM. She's 51, listened to an episode, and she beautiful message of how it's inspiring, how it's like pushing her to be better. I'm like, damn, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And from kids in high school and in elementary, I did a speech or for Texas Tech football and different things, like so different ages. And so because I think it resonates, everybody has a journey where it's in their mind where where they feel like they got to shrink a shell of themselves. So I really target everybody.
Yeah.
But however I speak, it touches whoever it goes to. So.
And if there's like one thing that you want to leave people with after they watch an episode, what would it be?
It's a great question too.
Are you gonna say that after every question?
No, because I'm somewhere.
Oh yeah, Phil. It's not there.
Really? It sound like ringworms. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's inside. So I gotta start all that again.
Wait, well, which one?
I don't know. That is a good question though.
I could hear him, but then he was moving, so that I was hearing the shirt.
Oh, so just ask the second question again. Okay. Wait, what did I say? Oh, okay. Okay, so if there's one thing that you want people to take from after watching an episode of your podcast, what would it be?
One thing I want people to take from, it varies depending on the guest, but I want people to take from conversation with either it's myself or two individuals, just the ability to be seen and, to come as you are, what you've been through and not feel a type of way for expressing yourself. A lot of the times, it's funny when I have conversations with guests, they end up, they're like, damn, that was like a therapy session, bro. Like, I needed that. I get that a lot. I needed that. Like, thank you. I'm like, damn, we just had a conversation. Right. I think it's because the intention that I really dig into their stories and what they've been through. And the way I kind of posture questions, it kind of leaves them with that feeling. But I don't know. It's just, we all want to be seen. And I think people can resonate with people actually like, damn, like, you could see them people are being real right now. And it touched me in a way. So it's the unsaid. Sometimes it's the way you even talk within each other. I just spit, whatever. Sometimes it's the way that we even talk. I'm literally like, that's how I am. I talk about what I do. Sometimes it's the way that we interact with each other. Sometimes it's the thing that we said. Sometimes it's what the guest said. So it could be a lot of different things. But the main thing is like, I'm seen, I'm heard, I'm exposing myself, and it's the confidence to show up as myself, just to know that, okay, I don't have to feel alone in this. Again, speaking to men, I think a lot of men suffer in silence because of the thing. Sure. I got to show up like having it all prepared, not knowing that you're probably 20, you don't have money, you're not supposed to, your journey's different. If he got bread, that's him.
Right.
Like long term, so many people on our age, short term. Oh, they got this. They look for the shiny thing, but the real things, when you go and you talk to people that's done it, the older people, read books of older people. I like to read biographies because it's like of founders that started companies, because it's like practical wisdom to what life is. Mm-hmm. It's all the long term in everything, whether it's money, like mindset, long term. A lot of people our age have this fixed mindset to where it's like, okay, like if they got skills, then shit, they're better than me. No, it's like,
Everyone wants instant gratification.
yeah,
Like,
it's the traits that you have. You can grow into that, but worry about you. So
exactly.
I don't even know what the question was, but nah, that's how I am. But I do want to leave people with that, just the fact that you can grow in all that you are.
Yeah, there's always room for growth. There's always people, and another thing that I always try to tell people is that the same way that you're looking at somebody else and being like, they got this going on, they got this, I don't have, somebody's looking at you and doing the same thing.
100%.
You know, it doesn't matter what, like I said, everybody has a story, everybody has something that they came from. And I can sit here and be like, I don't have the nicest apartment. And somebody else could be looking at me like she has her own apartment, period. You know? So it's like, I think you have to always keep that in mind as well.
That what I said earlier to ask you, does that have you, when somebody tells you, oh, like you got it good, or just the comparison, that you get self-esteem from that. So it's like, how do you break? I think about this myself. How do you break the connection of what people say? I know this podcast. Oh, I love your podcast. It gives you like, oh, you feel good, obviously, but like, I didn't do it for y'all anyway. I did it for me. God gave me a call, and He gave that to me to build that
that's
out.
what it is. It's just like redirecting the glory. Like, you know, don't thank me, thank God. You know,
Yeah.
thank Him for instilling this in me to be able to put it.
Because it's impossible to grab onto the love and not grab onto when they don't like an episode, when they don't like something.
Exactly.
So it's like disconnecting from all that and staying in my lane.
I just be like, it's not me. It's not me. I always say that, and I try, like I said, it's important to me to remain humble, and something that I'm very adamant about is that if my relationship with God or my spiritual and emotional and mental relationship isn't up to par, this does not work at all. So that's first.
What's it like for you then when it's not up to par? Because you have your dark days, your tough days.
I'm just like, I have a lot of self-awareness, and I intellectualize the way that I feel. I've always really been that way. So for me, I do a really good job at being like, I feel like this. This is why I feel like this. How do I not feel like this?
Can you think of a time though? Because I think it's a lot of times, you know, you have a podcast and you're showing up for everybody, and you're this figure, and it's almost like, for me, sometimes it gets me to be a character. I'm this person, but it's like we have our tough times too. So like, if a time, whether it's a tough day at work and you came on here tired after, and shit, I got to put an episode out. Like, how do you reconnect with, okay, this is why I'm doing this. It's not just another item to check off like a chore or a task or a to-do list. Like, how do you reconnect with like, okay, I know myself? Because you said you internalize and those type of things. Like, how does that play out to where it's like I come on here with enthusiasm and joy and love, not just like, shit, I got to do this?
Yeah. I think it just comes from me loving to do it. So even on my bad days, even if I had a terrible day at work, at the end of the day, even if I'm like, okay, I might not want to film today, I still do kind of look forward to it, because I think my favorite thing about the podcast is having these type of conversations with people and getting to know people and having more than surface level conversations. And that's what's fulfilling to me just on a daily basis. Like, I have people in my life when I'm not filming who they know, like, we call and we just can talk for hours about deep depths. Like, that's fulfilling to me. So that fills my cup up. So I think that's what it is. There are, like today, I'm not going to lie, today I was worn out, tired, but, you know, I just put my music on, get myself in the mode. Like, you know, it's just another conversation. It's like me getting to know somebody. Yeah. Really, ultimately, that's what
Do you think, okay, another question that just came up. Do you think you've shown up all the way you on here?
No. No, because I'm still learning the ropes, and also I think I'm still having that tug of war of wanting to say my genuine thoughts and opinions, but also knowing that there's potential to step on people's toes in the aftermath, because especially after the first thing went viral, like that controversial statement or whatever, it just like, it makes me a little bit more wary about saying what I really think. Yeah, because it's like I said, I don't really do well with that type of attention. So it's like, but the thing is, it's like, okay, so for a long time, I said this on the solo episode, for a long time, I've always known that I had really prominent opinions and ideas, and that I'm very smart. That cannot and will not be taken away from me. But I also realize that there's a lot of people who don't understand that. And although I'm confident in what I say, I'm not a confrontational person. So for most of my life, I always put my thoughts and ideas on the back burner for the sake of not stirring the pot, and played small and kind of like had that insecure kind of tick to me. So it's like, I know that I have something valuable to say, but I'm just not going to say
But
it.
you, not to cut you off, but you didn't start this podcast to shrink
No,
and
no, no,
to
no.
be small.
That's what I'm saying. So with that, like with doing the podcast, each episode, that's what I'm realizing more and more each time. Like, okay, you have to get out of that.
Yeah.
I've been like this my whole entire life. So every time it's like, you know.
It's so funny because like you come off to me because I'm this way perfectionist, and it's like when you're chasing perfection, it can work when you have like I'm a random example like if you're an architect, perfection. Oh shit, that bridge better be that dimension with.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something creative, you have to open yourself up. Like
Right.
there's no perfection. Art is literally imperfect. That's what makes it beautiful. Literally, you're a work of art. That's what makes your message beautiful because it's like, shit, today I don't got it all. But like that really connects with people more than anything. You try to come on here and say the right thing. Shit, they can watch that on Netflix or somebody just trying to act.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
when they watch something like this, that's why podcasts and conversations are very like engaging and personal because it's like, shit, they're real freaking people. They're not actresses and actors. Like they're having a conversation, really like doing the work to know themselves. And it's like, when you get on here every single episode and you're leaning into the uncomfortability of saying the real opinions that you have, opening yourself up to growth makes you more like yourself, not less. So it's like, shit, my chest is hot. Today I really spoke what I actually think.
That's what,
I don't care about these people.
That's what I said. So I have, speaking of that, like the last couple of days, just with everything that's been going on, I've been making notes, and I had said to myself, like, the next solo episode,
I'm gonna go off.
Lord.
I'm gonna go
I
crazy.
better watch out because I got a lot of stuff to get off my chest. Like, there's so much I need to get off my chest, and like again, it's a learning process, but I'm aware of it, and I know that it's something that needs to be worked on in order for this whole thing to like work out. But every episode it gets a little bit better, and it just be little things though. Like even I filmed an episode with some of my 2 closest friends last week, and we were just kind of like being ourselves, joking around, and there were certain things that we were laughing about that some people would be like, okay, that's serious, why are they laughing? But it's kind of like,
they don't know my friendship dynamic.
Yeah, I'm like,
all right, bro.
We laugh,
and that's
stuff.
reality. Everybody had a little group message where they send things that they can't just post out. Like,
exactly.
Bruh.
So it's one of those things. It's like it's really getting out of that. But again, I'm aware that the first solo episode I did a lot of. You can see I really like that episode because you can see throughout the episode. At first, I was like really nervous and like, I don't know if I could do this. Got to retake. But throughout the episode, I started to peel back the layers, get a little bit more comfortable with just saying how I really felt, talking about myself, talking about where I come from, all these feelings that I've had bottled up since I was a kid.
If you got negative feedback from that episode, would you show up the same way?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because a lot of the times you think like you're showing up, you're being yourself, then you got feedback. I'm like, shit, y'all don't like it? All right, I'm going to close down.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't got any, luckily, but like a lot of those people, like a lot of people, especially women, and honestly, something that's strange. Oh, somebody's calling. Oh, a lot of people. So my analytics is like 50% men, 50% women. So there's not like a thing, but a lot of the women were DMing me and saying like, I felt like we were having a conversation. I love this episode. You got to do more solo episodes. And I was that was probably the episode I was most insecure about. So
that is hilarious. Not even to take it to me, but 100% the same. Like, so like when I started my podcast, it was all solo. And I think episode 15 now I'm on like 81, but I put out like 3 episodes a week. But when I first started, they loved the solos. Then like some people wanted, with a guest. And I was like, I want it with a guest because I'm a conversationalist. I'm a connection, that type of guy.
Yeah.
So it's like when I switch, some people's like, I really got this from the solo episodes. Now I do like I've been doing like front loading with solos. They're like, man, this is helping me. So it's like sometimes in my own head, I'm like, damn, like do it. But I'm like, you ain't doing it for them. So it's like a journey. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not when you reach that, okay, I did a great episode. It's like, nah, we still go
Yeah,
through
we
regular
still have
days.
to.
It's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
still, I don't let, one thing about me is I'm not impressed by numbers. That's like one thing that I stand by. Like that whole thing with people giving me my flowers and saying like, oh my gosh, this is so great. They're like, I'm not impressed by the numbers whatsoever. Like, okay, that was a good episode. The next one can get 0 views. It is what it is. I gotta still do it.
what I get what you're saying, but again, shit, why not? That means
It's
you're
just
like,
my personality. Like like I said, people who really know me know like I'm not that person. That's just not who I am. But I'm gonna keep doing it, and I do feel proud of like what we did. And
yeah,
again, I do
hell
feel like
yeah.
all glory to God. Like His hand is really in it.
Shit, is he impressed by numbers? Like
Are you impressed by
I'm
numbers?
I'm putting
See,
it,
Brian's not.
but it's like if you know what you're doing is valuable, you know you spent time on this thing, you know you have a good mission, a good vision. You should be like, glory be to God.
Oh yeah, for sure.
God
No,
putting this out on everybody.
that's what I'm saying.
I get
For
what you're
sure, it's
saying though.
like
Yeah.
oh, like God, this that's like confirmation. Like okay, we're doing good. Like this is what He wants to be doing.
Yeah.
We're doing good. But it's not like like I said, people will message me and be like, you guys are doing amazing. And it's like, yeah, I'm like, oh, thank you. But it's not like okay, I'm big headed now. Like you know what I
No,
mean? It's like
yeah.
okay, that was good. Now we got
Yeah.
plenty more episodes to get
I
through.
don't know, like I
know?
just like just speaking to even Christians, a lot of people are like, oh, humble, holy is thou. Yeah, I don't want to take on too much. Nigga, bruh, God put me here. Yes, I
God
accept
sent
it.
me here.
Yeah, exactly. I got the confidence. Hell yeah, thank you,
Mhm.
thank you, because I'm doing something of purpose, like that's worth something. So
Yeah, for sure. I feel that 100%. But yeah, it's just like I said. I think it's just my personality. I'm just like a
yeah,
very little attention as possible. Not too much. Not too many eyes
shit, the
on
bright. You
me.
see that bright light? Bright lights
Look,
on.
I'm trying not to look at it.
Yeah.
But I'm an introvert by nature. I've always been that way. Always have had crippling anxiety, social anxiety. So that stuff is just like even when I remember, I think it was the first episode we filmed, we had went to the Bishop Arts District, the Wild Detectives. That's a plug because I love that place. To
They not
edit.
sponsoring.
I know.
Nah, I'm kidding.
But I show love. I love that place. But we went there to film, and I showed up in like some sweats and some Crocs and a shirt, and my hair is all in a messy bun. And I was like, we met some people there, and I was like, damn, I wish I would have like made myself look a little bit more presentable. And Brian was like, yeah, you gotta like start showing up more. Like, what happens when people start recognizing you and stuff? And I'm like, don't say that.
That's love, man.
You know?
That's
I'm like,
love.
don't say that. That's terrifying. That scares me actually.
Nah, not to cut you off. That's love. What he just said, man. It's so rare to have people see the vision that you have.
Right.
Like have somebody there with you. Like that's rare. Like that. I'm like, even the unsaid, he might have not known, but like for you, like, damn, that's actually like this nigga believe in me. Like that. I don't know. That's just that's what I took from that. Like again, what you say, what I want people to take from my podcast, I took that totally different because I'm like, damn, like that's love.
No,
like
that's important. Like everything as far as like the organization and the guests and the operation side of things, I'm very intentional about all of that. Like I don't even know if Brian knows this till this day, but like whenever we first started doing the podcast, it was important for us to have like bonding time. Like I think after we did the trailer, we went to the Toyota Music Factory, right? And we just like ate, and then we played cornhole for like. To him, it was probably just like, oh, we're just eating that. But to me, no, that's important. Like we're bonding, we're building something. And so after every episode, or not after every episode, but whenever like intentional that we meet up at this place, because I know that it's a walkable area, and we can check this out and we can talk a little bit better, or even. When we had Mikey and Tate here, two of our guests, they felt it. They were inspired. They loved the episode. I was like, you know what? All of us, let's go out to eat. Yeah. You know, it's important to me to hang out and build a team. And
that's so
it's intentional.
rare.
You know, it's very intentional. I want everybody to feel what I'm feeling. And to get that, like when they're like, oh yeah, no, that's what puts fuel to my fire. It's like, oh no, we see what you're doing. We feel it. We see it. We believe it. And, you know, like that stuff is important to me to like bond and build something with the people.
Your environment matters, man. You're like, and it's like ambitious people like yourself, you need to be around other ambitious people. It takes you another step. Like you get energy, like you could feel like you could do whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're with people like shit, like no offense to them, but like that's not where I'm trying to go with my life. If I'm trying to go up, I need to cut down of you less.
Yeah.
And to have somebody already push that, like you got something to reach for now. It's like, so when the tough days, when I actually before after work, I'm tired. If he give you that call, like what you talking about? Let's. So it's like shit. I got my chest up too. Like let's get it. Like. That is rare. Shit, I wish I had a Brian. That's like that's cool.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
That's very important. Like everything is intentional. That's why I say when I was talking about earlier how people would be like, "Oh, I want to be on the podcast." Like this is just not. We're not frolicking around.
I was just about to say that.
Like,
I was wrong. You're right. I was wrong.
We're not frolicking around. This is like no. We need people who see the vision, who feel it. Who I look at your stuff and I'm like, you're making an impact. Let's work.
Yeah, because before this, for some context, before this, I was like, him, Brian, and KG, they were like, man, I don't want this girl on the podcast. she. I was like, why not? She bring a different. But I'm wrong. Like if you don't want to mess up the space, something that you're built, like this environment, like somebody that's on it, that you don't want your listeners to hear that. Yeah, that's true. So
yes, it doesn't align with our message. Like, what do you have to bring? And that's why I'm saying, like, when I pick the guests, it's all intentional, and it doesn't matter whether you have 2 million followers or 2 followers. If I feel like you have an impact or you have something valuable to add to me and this platform, bring it on.
Okay, see, saying that, me, I'd be like, damn, like, I'm hard on myself, so I'm hard on people. I'm like, shit.
I'm the same way. Is
that good, you think?
No, I was telling Brian this. I was like, I'm coming to the terms that I'm low-key judgmental, and it's not a good thing, don't get me wrong, but I'm very hard on myself, so I'm very hard on other people as well. Like, I be side-eyeing people all the time, but I do the same thing to myself. I'm very... like I said, self-aware. I contextualize a lot of like what I feel, how I move. So I do like side eye people.
How do you kind of work out of that? Because in my opinion, I don't think you could work and be in judgment and be in love too.
Yeah, I think it's just me giving myself. It starts with myself, so I have to give myself grace, and I have to know like you don't have it all figured out. You don't know anything. You shouldn't know anything. You are not the creator. You know what I mean? Like slow your roll. Humble yourself. And then that allows you to do the same thing to other people. Like you don't know what they got going on. You don't know how they handle things. You don't know where they come from. You don't know nothing. So pipe down a little.
Being able to show empathy and have that for somebody else, because again, your beliefs are from your experiences, your environment, your parenting, their parenting. Like that's why you see the world the way you do and why you have the opinions that you do.
Exactly. And that's why they do.
Exactly.
And I don't know nothing about that. So, take a step back.
That's something I have to kind of train myself in. Because again, even in like relationships for me, I come in a role of like the fixer. I've always been in college. I broke my foot, my left foot, my right foot. I was 300 pounds to 245. Like I'm a grinder. Like I get up 6 a.m. want my girl to get up the same time. I was like, but I wouldn't date me. And it's just like relationships with other people. Like they bring something new to the table. If you show them love, they can show up to be actually who they are and not feel judged and slighted. And like, if you show that love, again, I talk and get examples from a lot of things. A lot of parents even, they show judgment on their kids.
Exactly.
So their kids shrink. They don't want to be around them because shit. My daddy, I'm an immigrant. My daddy grinded to come over here and they want me to be in this college and do this. But shit, I got a design degree and they not really rocking with it. I'm not married and they not really rocking with it. That judgment gets on them and they shrink and they close down. They feel like it comes from a lot of different places, and like a lot of our interpersonal connections with different people, our relationships, that judgment can be hindering and it can stop us from showing up to be seen.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like I have to practice myself. Like in the morning, shit, I'm grateful for this, and like trying to think from the lens of them, not me.
Exactly, not me. That's why I was first. Thankfully, I was grateful to have parents. Me and my siblings talk about this a lot. They never, contrary to belief, because again, I am a sheltered, introverted person. My parents have never once stopped me from being me or expressing myself the same way I talk to my friends, the same way I talk to my parents. And we have a really good relationship that way. But I think a lot of things too is like they realize very young that like, oh, she's got it. like they kind of put their hands off me. Like everything that I've done, of course, like they've influenced me a lot, but everything I've done from applying and going to college, I did that on my own. They never once put it in my head, like, you got to go to school. You got to do this. It was kind of like, oh, you're smart. Do your thing. They didn't know I was going to college. They didn't know I was going to Louisiana until maybe a month before. I told my dad, like, oh, we got to pack up and drive to Louisiana. He's like, what? And that was that. Like, I've always kind of did everything on my own. That's what I'm saying. I'm the first to go to college, and my little sisters kind of just followed suit. But
not to cut you off, you say you did everything on your own. What's the pressure in that? Because I think, the light side is, you've done what you needed to do.
oh, already?
You've
God
been
damn.
what you've done what you needed to do. That's the light side. You got to college the first, but there's a cost in that. So what's the cost? I would ask for you. You're away from your family, your friends. You're grinding. They kind of know that you got it, but it's
Yeah.
like, I'm still a person.
I think that's where. So I think what comes from that is that I've developed this mindset that I thrive in solitude, that I do my best by myself because I've accomplished all these things by myself. So naturally, I feel like by myself, I do my best. And it was difficult because it's like you have people whose parents are like super involved in their lives, like when they're in school, flying out to see them, checking on them, da da da. Like, I have a good relationship with my parents, but it's not one where they've ever been super involved in anything that I'm doing. So it comes with like I guess a sense of loneliness, because even it's like, and also they don't really see anything that I do as a big deal, because it's like, oh, it's Keandra,
Yeah.
like that's what she does. She's great, you know? So it's like even graduation, like something that was really messing me up when I graduated college is it wasn't a priority for my people to come to my graduation. Like it was just like, oh, graduated, yay. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, so it was kind of like pulling teeth to get my people to come into my
But how did that
graduation
make you
even.
feel though?
Oh, that was a very low point for me. Like very, very low point. Very low. So
What were those conversations like?
it was just like like why, it was more of like a why can't they see what I see? Like, why isn't this important to them? You know what I mean? And so to me, it's more like but that's always how my family dynamic has been with anything that any of us have really done. And I don't know, like there's kind of like, now that I'm older, I guess you can feel it. There's kind of like a guard, an emotional guard between the kids and my parents. So I feel like that's where it comes from. But now it's just important to me to let my parents know, like, no, like I had to like break down and cry and tell my dad, like, no, you have to come. Like, you can't just brush this under the rug
Yeah.
and be like, no, I'm not. Like, I
Right.
had to tell him, like, you have to come. Like, this is important. So he came with my sister, and then my sister graduated like the following year or so, and it was kind of the same thing. Like they were like, oh, we don't really know if we're gonna go, and I had to tell them, like, stand up for her, and she was calling me like, they're probably not gonna come, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And I was telling her like, no, that's not happening. So I called my parents and I'm like, you guys have to go to her graduation. I don't know why you guys are making it seem like it's
Right.
we might go if we feel like it, but you have to be there. Like,
Right.
I don't know. So it's just like having those tough conversations, and I guess letting them know, like, no, it affects us even as adults, that you guys don't feel. It's not even that you're not showing up, but the fact that I know that you don't deem it necessary to show up is, I think, what's really like.
Yeah, and it does. I think it does take a leader like you to kind of shake their beliefs and like their values, their beliefs on what you just did, as opposed to what you believe that you done. What's the truth? It's like, no, it's actually a thing, and that kind of changes it. So no, that's cool that you're able to do that and get headway with that. But I couldn't imagine what that feels like. That's tough.
Like, that's the thing. And so now it's like, as the older daughter who went to college and stuff, it's very important for me to show up for my siblings. So it's like graduation. Like I said, my brother just had a baby. It breaks my heart that I'm not there.
Yeah.
So it's
Hell
like
yeah.
stuff like that. And again, eventually I do want to move back to California, but I want to be comfortable. I want to live on my own. But again, I have very good, great, supportive parents. Like, I can call my dad, and he FaceTimed me yesterday. He's watching the podcast on his TV. So it's
That's
not,
cool. That's
he's,
dope.
he's supportive, and if I ever need anything as far as like money or anything, it's done, So
Not to cut you off, there's something you said. I don't know how much we're doing on time. I'm going to ask it anyways. In my head, I don't want it to go away.
okay.
You said
Oh yeah, we're good. We're good on time.
solitude. and you do well in solitude.
Okay, yeah.
Solitude, you work your best in solitude. So what's the difference from solitude and loneliness? Because you did mention loneliness. Like for me, it's like isolation and loneliness is one thing, and solitude is one thing. I would love to hear your take on it. For me, it's like solitude, I could get stronger.
Yeah.
Isolation is like I'm jaded, I'm guarded, I'm not showing up, I'm not connecting with people because I feel so shameful. I don't want to show up
Right.
to connect with anybody else.
So solitude for me is like that thing where it's I'm by myself and I've accepted the fact that I'm just in a season where I need to be by myself and that I need to work out whatever is going on in here or in here. So it's like if I don't have anybody to kind of like taint me or I don't really have to, it might sound selfish, but I don't really have to share too much of myself with anybody else, whether that be family and friends. Like I can figure out what it is that I need to be doing at that time and execute.
Yeah.
But and I always feel like I thrive better that way. So I've never really even been the type of person who is so obsessed with like being in romantic relationships. Like I've always kind of been like, okay, they're nice when they come around, And when it ends, it hurts, but I'm real quick to be like, all right, like you back in solitude. You gotta figure this shit out. You gotta. So
I always do this, but where does that come from? Because again, I think that plays on a lot of our experiences. Like it sounds, if I didn't know you, I would think, damn, she moved a lot when she was younger. She like those kind of relationships. She used to in and out of relationships, friendships, or whatever. Not romantic, but like I'm used to moving on. Used to the next,
exactly,
the
yeah,
next, the
yeah.
next. But I think it comes with a cost.
It does. Well,
because you can't lean in all the way into something.
and
I
I'm
feel
learning
like
that now. Like I'm learning. So I was in a relationship last summer, and it was very short lived. And even when we were like at the beginning of the relationship, I know that like I seen those patterns start to show up to where I'm self-sabotaging because it's like again, I
really.
feel like I do better by myself. So like back
What were
up.
you doing? What were you
So I'm just
What were you doing?
like getting irritable and just being like, ugh.
Really?
Yeah. So I noticed that. And the guy I was with, he called me out on it. He was like, I know what you're doing. It's not going to work. Give it up.
That's love. What's up, King? What's up, King?
So I was just like, okay. And at that point, like after like that day, I had a conversation with myself and I was like, you know what? You're right. You know exactly what you're doing. Give it up. This person wants to come into your life. They want to do good by you. You know that they want to do good by you. You feel it. So just let it happen and let it happen all the way. And I did. And like I said, the relationship was short lived. But even then, I don't have any regrets because I proved something to myself.
Yeah.
That I'm capable of being in a committed relationship and that I'm capable of letting somebody else in my space and it can be healthy.
Yeah.
Like because it wasn't an unhealthy relationship. Sometimes shit just don't work out and that's okay.
But you learned, yeah.
Yeah, and I proved like that relationship was something where I was like, okay, I proved to myself that I am capable and I'm kind of shying away from that. And I think it's just now it's like I'm just being more intentional about the company that I keep. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay.
And that goes back to that judgmental though. It's like, yeah.
It's like I can't be by myself. We're not meant to be by ourselves all the time. But I can pick who I spend my time with. So that goes as far as like friends. That goes as far as like some family gotta go, like some conversations I can't entertain anymore. You know what I mean? Like if I call you and the only conversations that we're capable of having is a bunch of gossip, can't do it.
Bad.
You know what I mean? It's like, or if, just certain things that I'm just moving on from or changing the direction of the conversation. So it really is important to me, the company that I keep. And thank God it's like quantity over quality. I do have some very solid people in my life who I can call and talk to and have good conversations with. And they just hear me out and let me know, when I'm losing my shit.
Okay, as a woman, for me, obviously, like, I've been single for a while. And I've not saying this is a badge of honor, but every girl that I've ever had, I broke it off for whatever reason. My last one is because my cousins. I felt like I broke it off because I don't feel like I could love myself. So how could I ever, and that sort of thing. Fast forward now, obviously, it's someone, I think, I always hate when guys say, I don't want a relationship, girls say, I don't want a relationship. I inherently believe this. I don't think there's anyone breathing that says, oh, today I don't want to get swept off my feet.
Yeah.
If you meet the right person, like, what's good?
That's
like,
very true.
Where do you think 2023 is in a perfect world that you would meet a man, meet a woman. Where's the right place?
Where?
Yeah.
I don't get out much, so maybe like church, Target, the library.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
some food or something. I don't know. Not the club, you know. I don't know.
I think church too, but it's like that's a fairy tale.
So low key, like church, some you know.
And no, exactly. And people go there for that reason. But that's where
Yeah,
you're supposed to go.
that's true.
Honestly.
That's true.
And now it's like I'll be thinking this recently. It's like even with friendships, relationship, I would want to go and find a woman where it's like communities or environment where they want more for themselves, like a church or a
Exactly.
gym or you know, the library, because you're
Exactly.
obviously trying to grow into yourself. Other than a place where you want relief from your life, like a club or a
Exactly.
release or a bar, like because you're trying to escape something. Not saying that it's always, but it is some form of relief.
Exactly.
Church and bookstore and the gym, they challenge your ass
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
I would want to go to those environments to
'Cause
find
you
someone
know.
because they at least are on one accord with something.
Right.
Because everybody else in the club or the bar, they putting on this cloak of, oh shit, trying to compare. Some people there for the occasional birthday
Yeah,
and
you know.
they're having fun, whatever. But it's like it's harder to break that threshold of actually seeing a person there because shit, they trying to buy a section.
Yeah.
We trying to get them in the section. We worried about that other than
Exactly.
actually being seen and being like, I actually don't have the money today, but shit, the boys want to come for like.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, for sure. Dating is, I don't know. The dating pool, like I said, I'm not really a go-getter type of person. So, you know.
There's something that you've been doing in this episode. You've been labeling yourself as I'm not this type of person. I'm not this. But like if I'm behind your eyes years ago, I don't think an introvert would make a podcast.
That's true.
So it's like I that's why when I started this, I never like to label myself personally as I'm this or I'm that. Shit. I'm Norense and I have a lot of interests and sometimes I'm introverted, sometimes I'm extroverted. I don't know. So it's just interesting.
It's true. But on a good note, we'll look back at these episodes and be like, remember when she swore?
Yeah, growth.
You know?
Exactly what I'm saying.
Remember
exactly.
when she said this and that and that?
You 2
Now
years
look at
ago,
her.
exactly, wouldn't think you're here. So it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
For sure. Okay. Anything else? I feel like we've done a lot of talking. How long are we at now?
Over 10 extra minutes.
Okay. You got anything else for me?
No, I mean, if in mind belief style, I would ask you, overcoming the negative voice in your head, it's you versus you, whether you had, oh, this is a shit episode. Oh, I had a shit day. Damn, this person just cut me off, swerve. I want to, and you're going back home and you're like, okay, you're internalizing, you're seeing as what they said and you're taking it on because it's like, it's a shame, I'm wrong, whether versus like, I did something wrong. I'm wrong for messing up this podcast or messing up. When you're in that battle between you and that voice, how do you work to get out of that? Like the practical steps. It's all like the daily steps that you do. What is your process to kind of overcome your mind belief?
I'm a process person. So like I said, I intellectualize everything. So I'm like, okay, I've been in this funk for like a week. What am I doing differently? Or when was the last time I was feeling better? And what was I doing then? That, whether that's for me, it's important to me. It's important for me to get up earlier and have a solidified morning routine before I'm even touching my phone or before I have to log into work. I have to have me time, me and God in the morning for like at least an hour. Or I have to go on a walk after work or stuff like that. So
I'm not trying to cut you off, but I swear I feel like I'm the same way. What if you don't get your hour in? You feel like you try to be perfect, like, nah, I need this hour or
yeah. So sometimes I don't get my hour in, but I notice the shift. Like I notice how, so it'll be like, okay, I didn't get my hour. I'm a little bit grumpy today. I'm a little bit irritated. When I get off work, nobody texts my phone. Nobody called me. You know what I mean? Like nobody, I'm not being bothered with anybody when I get off of work. So stuff like that, go for a walk. Just stuff like that. Like, gotta have your hard nose sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I need me time. That's important to me. Like, if I don't have me time, I'm a little cuckoo.
So that helps you overcome it.
Yeah, and it looks different for everybody. Some people ask me all the time, how do you wind down? That's sometimes I gotta fast from people. Like I have to be like, do not call me, do not text me, nothing. I don't want to talk because usually every day after work I'm talking to somebody on the phone, whether it's my brother or my siblings or one of my close friends. I have a lot of long distance friends, so I spend a lot of time talking to people on the phone. Sometimes it's like, can't happen today. Sorry, not today. But yeah, that's how.
No, I think a lot of people could benefit from that because it does do something when you start your day with Christ, your foundation, or start it like on a positive. The early wins, like going to the gym, you feel good. Like, yeah, I conquer something because again, it's like the growth, the tension that you had waking up. Like I don't really want to, but I overcome that negative voice and say I don't, and I became something. Whether it's your beliefs or not, to worship that's different. But actually doing something better for yourself, and then running into your life, knowing that shit, I got an early win. I could knock them off.
And you need that. I think you need that space. Like I noticed that because when I was before I logged into work at 9, I worked from home. I was waking up at like 8:40. So that's like, and I'm getting right to it. I'm like, oh, these people get on my damn nerves. I just woke up. I'm grumpy. So I had to reevaluate and assess the situation and be like, what am I missing? I need more me time in the morning. I need a bridge between me waking up and actually like getting up and then dealing with these people.
100%, I agree. Because I had a corporate job too at Amazon Business Development, and it was the same thing. If I wake up late and I run in, I'm just pissed because everything they said, I took that on, my stress of this. No, I need my time. I literally would like get out of my room. Like I can't hear a ping, an email. No, it's gonna mess up.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm exactly the same way. I've been on this kick. I just started it though, like a few months ago, but it has helped enormously. Like I used to have mental breakdowns at work, at least once a week. But since then, I ain't had one since. So don't quote me, but I'm seeing results.
You're human though, but that process was definitely that's good. That helps.
Yeah, but y'all, we have done a lot of talking. Thank y'all for tuning in on this week's episode of On the Come Up with KG.
On the Come Up! Norense Odiase King! No! _Mind Bully Podcast. Yo, do that for me.
Make sure y'all tap in.